Hello everyone, I am Stephanie, the social media coordinator for IATEFL YLTSIG. Today with me I have Valeria Tapia, who is from Argentina, and she's going to tell us about her experience with remote teaching, because as all of us know now, most of us have gone through that channel. So Valeria, hello first of all, and welcome. Thank you for being part of this initiative.
Hello, how are you this morning? Well,
Okay.
I would like us to start with a brief introduction. I am from Argentina. I live in a very, very small place in the province of Buenos Aires. And here the name of my place is Bragado. And here I run a school. It's like an institute, a private institute. And here we teach children from 3-year-olds to advanced. So we in general from first grade on, we start training our students to sit for the Cambridge examinations. Yes, so we really focus on young learners. And well, about young learners or kinder, let's start talking about from kinder on. With when all this happened, which was like so sudden, I started thinking on how to get in touch, to be in touch with my students. So I started little by little. And first I recorded videos, telling stories, and I sent lots of lesson plans. I have never stopped sending lesson plans to my students. And the plans were like quite interactive, including lots of flashcards and images and videos and music. But then I started feeling that the need of seeing my students. So I started rescheduling all my school, all the timetable, and I started teaching through Zoom. First, I started with the starters, and then with the movers and the flyers. And well, of course, main suit as well, like kids, pets, all of them. And it took quite a long, like a week, for my students to get used to that new method. Of course, I have to say that in my school, as like the community is like very close. I have about 100 students, and I couldn't have done this with the help of the parents, because parents have collaborated quite a lot. They are always there. I mean, at this moment, my students can have the class in an isolated room, and their parents leave them. But at the beginning, they needed like quite a lot of help. Yes, support. The support they don't have. I am there with them, but it's not the same. They always need something, and so parents have been very supportive at my school. So I am very grateful because of that. And
so you mentioned using materials, lesson plans, images, stories. Could you think of anything that you would encourage other teachers to try out in material creation, for example? How to make the lessons more interactive, given that we're using this virtual platform?
I think that it's very useful. I have included at the beginning, my plans were like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and the song, a video I share with my students. But then at the beginning of the school year, I have asked my children to buy a book. Yes. And so then I decided to ask them to have the book with them, because I think that having something to touch, like the notebook and the book, is like gives them something like to be like set, to be fixed. And then apart from that, I always have the book, the course book, as a guide. Yes. And I always keep adding more things. Yes, I share with them on the board. Yes, And about, for example, young learners, some of them are in first grade, so they are learning to write and read in Spanish. So at the very same time, they are discovering the sounds of the English language. So I am also working on that, because they are not going to school. They are not having like interactive classes with their teachers. Probably they are getting homework, piles of homework, but they are not interactive with
Exactly,
teachers.
and you mentioned whereas with lesson plans for older kids, it could work pretty much okay, but with the younger learners, said learning how to write. I mean, that's what's the challenge in that?
Yeah, so I try to focus on that as well, and also how to the way in which they work on the notebook, because sometimes they open the notebook wherever, and so I am also teaching them to open their notebooks and write the date and what's the weather like today, and to follow like an order. I also play the cleanup song at a certain point of the class, and so they organize all their things there. So I am also working, not only, I do not only focus on English, but on some other aspects of the teaching.
Yeah, like giving them a routine maybe as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and the habit, of course, the habit of having the class like 3 times a week at the same time, and also to be in a position like in a position ready to listen, and well, to be organized, always to have a pencil. I show them the pencil, the eraser, everything they need, and to put it down and to get in contact with me, because there is a point at which we stop working on paper and we start interacting with flashcards, or sometimes we have a break during the class, and I show them around the school because they know the school, and so I take them with the computer to the garden. I show them how the flowers are blooming and the trees are growing there, you know. And there is something else I would like to tell you about. Then I started teaching from starters online, and then my 3-year-olds and my 4-year-olds were out of the program because they got the plan, I sent them, but I was not seeing them. So 2 weeks ago, I started having a class with a physical education teacher. So every Friday, we have a class that is a mix between gym, like movement, and English. The physical the teacher, the coach speaks Spanish, and I speak English, like interacting with them in English, and we do some things like, I don't know, head and shoulders, and we see the parts of the body and they move. Last class was hopscotch, so all the kids had to make a hopscotch with their parents helping them, and they jump in and jump out, and we have a plan.
Very old traditional songs. We're going back
old traditional,
yes.
But it's a little bit of movement, which is also necessary. And so now everybody is online at school except 3-year-olds. Some of them are into, because they have their siblings being online, so they stay there listening to the class. But 3-year-olds is like more difficult because their attention span is not the same.
Yeah.
But
what do you think one can do? I mean, it's not easy for 3-year-olds to hold their attention. It's not easy for them to understand why they're not going to school, why they're not meeting with their friends. It's very difficult for them to conceptualize, you know. What is a possible way of you know, bridging that gap, kind of?
I am, for example, today, the plan today is like, I send them I read them books, and they listen to the books, and I think that they listen to the books and they follow the class. They like coloring. So the thing is like, even in class, it's very difficult to keep them sitting, and you know, it's 3-year-olds. It's more like they play, and they live in a world in which they don't connect with, this is a class, you know. So it has to be like more like a game, and in this case, parents must play the role, because I send them the plan, and they have to be very alert in order to share the worksheets and the songs at the moment.
There has to be some imagination, some cooperation from the parents.
Yeah, in this case,
playing
always,
with your children.
but with 3-year-olds more, with 3-year-olds, because I have tried including them, the 3-year-olds, to the gym class, which is quite something, which is funny. It's different, and they only the ones who had the class with their siblings stayed there. The others disappeared, because it's 3-year-olds. They are so young.
Yeah. That was fascinating. Thank you very much, Valeria, for your contribution.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we wish you well in continuing your very valuable work with your students.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too.